What's up, everybody? March 23rd edition of the Fightful MMA podcast. Yours truly, Joe Ferraro. You can follow me online at Showdown Joe, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Follow us at Fightful MMA for all your mixed martial arts news. FightfulMMA.com. It is Thursday. It is 7 a.m. in Hawaii, 1 p.m. here just north of Toronto, and we are pleased to be joined by Frank Trigg. You may not recognize him, ladies and gentlemen, because I took some major insult from one of his recent Instagram posts, basically saying his girl Jill is now married to a woman. Hey,
Yeah.
I shave my head, I shave my face. What up?
Yeah. Well, so here's the deal. If you're dating a man and he doesn't have a beard, you're dating a woman. That's pretty much how it works.
That's disturbing. That's disturbing.
So, but for me, I actually had to shave for a part. There's a new, I can't say much about it because of the NDAs that Marvel makes you sign and all that stuff. But Inhumans is a new Inhumans show that's going on ABC. Starts in September. They started filming here in Hawaii. They're doing 8 shows here in Hawaii and then moving around doing other ones. And I went on set, full beard, and they're like, look, you gotta shave. I'm like, for what? No one told me that. Like, who said, like, you got to shave? Like, this is how it has to work. So what they had to do to my head and how things had to go. And the reason why I'm like all super puffy right now is because of what they had to do to my face. And it's pretty neat. I can't actually wait for the episodes to come out. It's actually a pretty cool thing. And the first 2 episodes, my understanding is they're going to be in IMAX. So the first 2 episodes of the season, you actually have to go to the movie theater to see them. And then like 2 weeks later, then it airs on ABC, from episode 1 to episode 8. So it's pretty cool.
That's pretty badass. Now, for most of us, I tweeted out that it was 6:30 in the morning. You're probably going to be cranky because it's early for you. Unfortunately, you've been working all night.
I haven't slept. Yeah, I actually came home. My phone died, which is why I couldn't tell Joe, "Hey, look, I'm on my way," because we're out in the middle of nowhere. There's no place for me to plug in. We couldn't get the vans to get our stuff plugged in. The trailer was like a half hour away, so it wasn't even worth trying to go back to that. Came in, said hi to my wife, and then jumped right on the camera. And my face is puffy because of all the crap they had to put on it and then take off. And so now I'm all fucking super swollen and extremely tired.
People have no idea what it's like to do recordings overnight. Night shoots aren't fun. I mean, I've done my fair share of day shoots, obviously. I don't think I've ever had to do a night shoot, to be honest with you. And I can just imagine how it plays absolute havoc on your body clock.
Yeah, there's a lot of me telling people, hey, I'm going to go over here in this corner. I will be right there in that corner. I'm not moving. Come get me when they need me. And then, because they don't need you for every single scene. Don't need you every single spot. So a lot of times I was laying down in the corner. You're halfway getting a nap, and now you're like, oh, crap, I got to get up. I got to go do something. So you can't really ever get solid sleep. And then you tell the craft services guy, I need my coffee as strong as you can make it. And make it as much as you can have, as much as you can possibly have up there. Just keep it up. Like right now, I'm probably over caffeinated. So by the time we get off this, I go lay down for a couple hours, and I probably won't be able to sleep. I'll still be bouncing around. It sucks. Like your body gets jacked up. But man, when you work with some of the actors I get to work with, even though because I'm doing second unit, I'm doing stunts. But I work with some of these guys. They're not complaining. They're up there working their asses off. So, well, what do I got to say? The guy just got to get up and go do it. It's just part of the industry and part of the game. But it sucks because it's like 7 o'clock at night when you start. And you're like, oh, we'll be out of here by midnight, which is kind of normal. Like, okay, I can kind of stay up till midnight and get to bed at 1 o'clock. That's okay. Then all of a sudden it's like 3 in the morning. You're still there. Like, crap, it's a 12-hour shoot. Like, what are we doing? Something messes up. Something doesn't come out right. Some makeup needs to be retouched up. It's like all of a sudden it's this whole mess. So it's always difficult during any time of day. Now adding biological clock of, hey, I want to be in bed. Everyone's kind of half dragging. The director's half dragging. Everyone's dragging. Doesn't make a difference who you are. But when we get done, everyone's super happy with what happened, and we go home and go to sleep. I feel bad for like hair and makeup because there's only a certain amount of hair and makeup that I should do with what's being done on the show. So these guys get like 6 hours off and they're back on set again. They worked all night, 6 hours off, go right back on set again and do it again, or 8 hours off and go do it again with another set.
Well, does it remind you at all of I know it's an overnight shoot and it has nothing to do with training MMA, but when you were competing full time, you did need that rest. You did need the rest in between training sessions and stuff like that. Did you ever get into a situation? And the reason why I'm asking is sometimes when I go out and I do the play-by-play gigs, I like to take a nap the day of the event, only because once we go live, I've got to be, for example, let's say we're doing Titan FC. I got to be at the venue at 4 o'clock as an example. We go live at 6 or 7 o'clock, and that's it. I'm live, no breaks, nothing, not even a bathroom break, all the way until about midnight or 1 a.m. So if I'm going to be up and I got to be on point, a little nap, half an hour to an hour before I get ready and head to the arena is what I like to have. But that nap sometimes doesn't take place because I'm afraid I'm gonna sleep through the alarm. I'm afraid they're gonna call me to do a voiceover. I got a million things going on in my head. How's my son doing back home? Is my wife okay? And it's like, how do you clear your mind? And then now you're talking about doing something on set where you said that you're gonna step off for half an hour to go sit down. Your brain's not gonna shut off.
Yeah, and that's the biggest problem. So you're wearing the Thriller Manila T-shirt today, and that's kind of basically how I got my start in how to be an athlete. So I read Muhammad Ali's autobiography when I was really young, and one of the things that he would always do is that he would take a nap. He'd get up and run early in the morning, and then would go and then would eat and would do whatever, and take a little bit of a nap, and then get up and go to his sparring practice, his mitt practice, whatever, in the afternoon. Then days of fight, he would try to, like 12 hours before the fight, he would try to take like a 2 or 3 hour nap, like try to sleep. And just go right to sleep for starting at the 12 hours before the fight start time for a couple, 3-4 hours, and then get up and get moving, and then would start, and then of course report on time. And I kind of got in that habit where I'm always taking a nap. I still take naps now. I take a nap. I get like 6 hours of sleep a night. I get up and I go take a nap, and that resets my clock and restarts. But I only need like 20 minutes, half an hour. When we would travel overseas, and then we go to Japan when I was working for Pride, I was like, man, this is like, I'm really screwed up. The first couple of shows, I was like, man, I'm not making this. This is not working for me. I don't know what the hell to do. Like, I'm drinking as much coffee cans, I'm drinking as much teas, and I have a real addictive personality. So I wouldn't take like upper pills to go up and then take downer pills to go to sleep because I'd be just jammed up. So I just like, I'm not going to start that process. So what I started doing, and then it's one of the better things that Jerry Millen actually said to me throughout the time that I was there was like, why don't you just go take a nap? I'm like, oh yeah, like I take a nap when I'm in train camp. Why don't I take a nap now? And that started my cycle up before every stage scene. Anytime I'm in front of the camera, makes a difference what aspect I'm on, I'm taking a nap before I go. Now sometimes you're waking up and then going to set, so you don't have to worry about the nap. But like last night, I went down and laid down at about 3:30. I laid down, and then so I had enough time in case I overslept or whatever, and then got up, but it still wasn't enough. It's just because now I'm in that deep zone of no sleep. But it's like, but yeah, you take naps. It's like you have to. And it's funny how you talk to most professional adult men at the higher level, commentators, on-air personalities, CEOs, whatever, like all these guys, they don't really sleep. They just take naps. Like, oh yeah, I took a half-hour nap. I got an hour nap in. I got a 2-hour nap and I'm ready to go. You're like, it's just how our bodies work. We get recharged. I'm surprised you don't take more naps. Like you put Thomas down, you down. Okay, he's down, I'm down.
Well, no, so the thing is, though, like he's in school and I'm running 3 businesses as well. This is my passion. Mixed martial arts is my passion. I got the daily podcast, but I do have 2 other businesses that I run, and my brain won't shut off. My brain, because if I even try and lay down, it's like I got to call this person, I got to call that association, got to get this mortgage done, blah blah blah. What if the bank calls me? I got to get this paperwork in for this client. So the brain doesn't shut off. I'd like to. I'll say this: guilty by association, pretty much. I did take a nap on on Tuesday morning after I dropped off my son. I didn't tell my wife because she'd probably like, what are you doing? But I started a new routine. I was talking to Elias Theodore about this. I started a new workout routine. For the past 5 years, I wouldn't lift anything heavy, Frank. I just want to do high reps, low weights, high reps, and just get a good sweat on. And I just got tired of not seeing the results when I used to lift heavy. The reason why I stopped lifting heavy is because I have that body type that packs on weight. So I was paying more attention to the scale than I was with how I looked.
Oh, okay.
I said, that's it. No, I'm lifting heavy. Well, Monday I started lifting heavy. Today I had a solid workout this morning. I mean, I was just like, I was dreading it because I was sore, but I had a fantastic workout. But man, Monday's workout, come Tuesday morning, I was like, oh my God, like you're not 25, Joe. You're 43. And I don't take anything other than protein powder. So I needed some sort of recovery time, man. I dropped him off. She left for work. I lied down. I said, I'm just going to take a 20-minute, half an hour nap. It was an hour, man. I woke up. I could have run a marathon. I felt like $1 million.
Those are the best things ever. I'm surprised more people don't do it. College kids do it all the time. Like I'm always, they get bored and they just all of a sudden don't realize in this pad we're taking naps, and then we go in the real world also. We're not supposed to be able to do that. Man, I used to when I had when I had like a regular job, I was working for the University of Oklahoma. I would lock my door during lunchtime, go take a nap. So instead of eating, and then would wake up and eat my lunch at my desk instead of going someplace to eat. I would pass out.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. Lots of stuff happening in the world of mixed martial arts, and one of them was earlier on with Nate Diaz ripping apart Dana White with a tweet. Just, I guess, ripping him a new one, you could say. We all know the Diaz brothers operate in a different frequency. I'm hearing that Diaz was potentially offered either, I think it was Eddie Alvarez. As much as I want to see the Tony Ferguson fight, I think Nate's holding off for that Conor McGregor fight. The only problem with that is, Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz probably won't be fighting anytime soon. What do you make of this whole situation with Dana White and Nate Diaz and him, potentially not fighting anytime? The guy got paid like $5 million probably for that fight against the second fight with McGregor, so he's got money.
He doesn't need to fight, so he can pick and choose now. He has the money where he can pick and choose, and the Diaz brothers are so. The Diaz brothers can get away with it because they're so polarizing. There's so many people want to watch them fight, and they have so many fans and so many followers. People love the way they fight. They love the way they talk. So he can get away with it. But anybody else, like if you're a low level guy, and Dana offers you a couple fights, and you're like, no, I don't want to, you're fired. They're just gonna get rid of you. There's no reason to keep you around. But you can't get rid of the Diaz brothers because you get rid of them, no matter where they land, they're gonna double the viewership of that other promotion. So they have to keep them around. They got to keep offering them stuff. Diaz brothers, like you said, they always go to their own drum. They're gonna do whatever they want, whenever they want. It makes no difference who's telling them what to do and when to do it and what the gigs is. I believe that Diaz wants to hold out for McGregor because that for him is that's another big fight. It's another multi-million-dollar payday. So why not wait for McGregor? To me, it doesn't. I don't understand why they didn't have the rubber match right away. Like it should have automatically happened in the history of the UFC, not necessarily MMA, but in the history of the UFC. If guys split over 2 fights, they immediately reschedule the rubber match. Why didn't they reschedule the rubber match? Why wouldn't they reschedule the rubber match? It'd be a huge payday. It'd be for everybody involved. Like a lot more pay-per-view buys, a lot more viewers on FS1 watching the undercard. Like what happened? Oh, well, because Conor wants to fight Mayweather. So that's what's kind of stalling things around. Okay, Conor's not a boxer. So if you're letting his fantasy of wanting to box the best boxer right now, arguably, right now in the sport, not even arguably, but right now in the sport that is just recently retired, and you want that to hold up your weight class and hamstring your weight class, well, that makes no sense. Are you guys running a business or not running a business? And so I don't really understand like how the rubber match can come out right away and why this other thing starts popping around in the background. But man, the Diaz brothers, I got to be honest with you. If I just made whatever it was between $3 and $5 million, so I know that the rubber match is going to be between $4 and $6 million, I'd wait too. Why wouldn't we wait? I have all this money. Yeah, so I lost half of the taxes, half of to somebody else. I lost half. So say I got $3 million. I came home with $1.5 million. I live in Stockton. I got $1.5 million. I live in Stockton. I'm good for 5 years, man, and that's after I paid all my taxes and all that crap, and I'm done with everything else. Like, and all my debts are paid. I'm like, dude, I'm good for 5 years. Like, don't bother me. You don't need to be worrying about any of this other crap. And so he'll wait, and rightfully so. He should wait. Why tarnish his record? Why bother beating up his body for some crap that's not going to make him? And let's be honest, we've gone through it ourselves professionally. We get a certain rate for a particular task that we're doing. And all of a sudden, that task is no longer available to us because the promotion went under, the job went sideways, and whatever the reason is, all of a sudden now you're kind of like, for the first couple of weeks, you're like, man, I'm not going to take every single offer that comes my way. I'm going to kind of wait it out. But then a year into it, you're like, I'm taking every offer that comes my way because now the money has come out. And so all of a sudden now we lower our ego levels, and that's what happens. Right now, the Diaz brothers, or Nate rather, is running on the height of what just happened. So he still has enough money left in the bank account. He doesn't start panicking yet. Believe me, when that money is spent, he'll take whatever fight they put in front of him. It's just a question of how long will that be.
It's speaking of Nate, the Nevada State Athletic Commission is going to get a hold of him and potentially reduce his fine and suspension, just like they did with Conor McGregor, whose fine was reduced to $25,000, but he had to do 25 hours of community service. This all stems around that water bottle throwing incident from their rematch. We could break that down. But I'm wondering how much of this has to do with the potential of a Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather fight happening in Nevada State. Nevada said no, has nothing to do with it. And I'm kind of like, well, yeah, it probably does.
But I mean, we all know it does. And stop it. Like, just stop it. You want, so commissions have one major job, and that's fighter safety, whether it's for MMA or for boxing. And everybody needs to understand that there might be a head commissioner for MMA and a head commissioner for boxing in some states. In most states, the head commissioner is the head commissioner for boxing and for MMA. So it's controlled by the same. But if there's a separate head for each entity, then there's a person above them that makes everything underneath the same umbrella. So the commissions essentially that watch boxing also watch MMA. So the first thing is fighter safety. Second thing is commerce. They have to create income. Like there's no reason they have to justify their salaries, they have to justify their payments. If there's no one coming in to fight in your state organization, then there's no reason for commerce. Like there's no way for you to make any money. There's no reason to have you around. So you have to create commerce. To create commerce, you have to have fighters. You have to have big name fighters. So talking about Nevada, let's say, and the rumor is that they've saved the date in June for Mayweather and McGregor at the T-Mobile Arena. Well, T-Mobile Arena is not gonna save a date for Joe Ferraro and Frank Trigg to fight. They're going to save a date for us to do that. We need a bigger main event. So Mayweather, he's a big enough main event. He's calling me and he's going, hey, not only do I have the main event, but here is the proposed, and these things can always change because of people get sick, people get hurt, people fall around. They go, look, here's the proposed 3-fight co-main event and swing bout. So here's the 3 fights that we have set so far. Can we get this date saved? They go, yeah, we'll save the date. Like, believe me, when the UFC saved the 3 dates in July for the three nights of fights at T-Mobile Arena, which is also part of their deal where they have to do 4 fights a year at T-Mobile, that they want to know who's the main event, who's the co-main event, and they just told them. Now with the UFC, they don't have to necessarily tell you who the main event, co-main event is, because they can tell you what the name of the fight is, and that comes with, we know that this is gonna. So if it's a pay-per-view card, there's going to be a title fight, it's going to be a big name fight, and it's in July. If it's a tough finale fight, it's going to be 2 big name guys and then the tough fighters. Like, this. And then I forget what the other one is. A fight night fight. It's going to be the number 1, number 2 contender or the next hot prospect coming up. So you kind of know these things. With boxing, you actually have to physically give them the names. And this is, I'm sure, it's what they did. Hey, we're trying to put together this Mayweather McGregor fight, and this is what we want. So let's have the space. Well, now Nevada goes. They say the date. So if we don't get these fines down, this guy's not going to come fight here. It's going to go to California. So what does that mean? It means, and Dana said this a while ago, it's like a $10 million increase to the local economy whenever the UFC comes in town. So think about boxing, what that does. It's even more than that in that weekend that they're in town. So that Saturday that they're in town, that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's a $10 million swing. For MMA, for boxing, it's even more. People pay more, people do more, it's more. So now you've got the situation where this kid's not going to come fight for you because he owes you so much money. He'll go fight another commission, he'll go fight in California, and it's much easier, to get licensed over there and get set over there. So of course Nevada's going to negotiate. Okay, let's negotiate. Let's take down the fine from whatever it was. What was it, like 10% or 20% of his purse, and then bring it down to $25,000 and only 25 hours of community service, which for a guy like Connor, community service, he just talks to a couple of high schools, talks to a couple of kids, he's done. Like, it takes him 4 days, he's done. And who doesn't want to talk to that guy? Like, who doesn't want him as part of their community service? Like, so it all makes sense, of course. Like, we all know this has got to do with the potential of a fight later on. And let's not forget, let's just say boxing is taken out of it. What happens with Conor McGregor's on an MMA card, on a UFC card? How much more money comes in? It's a big deal. So of course they negotiate. Of course Nevada is trying to work this deal out, make things happen, because who wouldn't? Like, it's negotiation. All of this goes into the same format of getting the what is it, $6 million in gate, the $87 million in food and beverage, the extra hotels, the extra, like, it's just better it's better for everybody involved. If the fight happens in Nevada, as far as Nevada is concerned, than if it happens in California. And that's kind of the shell game that's being played. So yeah, negotiate, and make this thing happen.
Yeah. Now, speaking of this potential fight, Sean Pearson on last night's Fightful MMA podcast made some 2 good points. One about this fight, one about contracts in general. In regards to this potential McGregor versus Mayweather fight, I never thought of it from this perspective, and I want to get it from your perspective as another fighter like Sean, who competed and got paid as a prize fighter. If Conor McGregor gets quote unquote Mayweather money, he may never come back to the UFC. What point?
So, yeah. But here's the thing. Let's be honest. Let's be honest about this potential matchup. Let's take Danica Patrick. Right? She was a mediocre. Well, she was the bottom of the top end in Formula One racing. She makes a transfer into NASCAR racing, and she doesn't do very well. Okay, it's cars, it's wheels, it's an engine, it's a pit crew. Like, why is it so much different? Different cars, different format, different rules, different regulations, different. And this is car to car. Okay, she's doing the same stuff. You know, turn the wheel, moving the stick, same stuff. Takes her about a season before she can actually catch up and get into it. And if we literally look at her career, it hasn't been a stellar career. It hasn't been really great in NASCAR. She really hasn't been knocking on the door, and she's not like one of the names that everyone talks about. Like, she's not one of the people, right? Now you put somebody that knows how to play field hockey, and they're really good at field hockey. They're amazingly good. I mean, they're like one of the best at field hockey. Now they go play ice hockey for the Penguins, for the Maple Leafs. Like, you're like, this guy scored, like, he played international field hockey. He was scoring like 25, 26 goals a week. He hasn't scored in 9 months. Like, well, yeah, he's on skates. This is field hockey to ice hockey. That's hockey to hockey. So same basic principles, same basic understanding. Now you're talking about MMA versus boxing. Boxing is one thing in MMA. Is Conor one of the better guys at boxing in MMA? Yes. Is he the best guy at boxing in MMA? I don't know. I'd have to look it up and kind of check a couple more things to see if I actually believe that or not. But the foot motion, the timing, the stepping, the man. When I was in my prime, I was pretty damn good at boxing. I mean, I had some real. I understood the game, understood how to move around. Like, I knew, come sparring practice, man, I was lighting fools up. Until we went to Mayweather's gym, and I got to work out with the lower end, smaller guys because they didn't want me getting hurt. I was like, come on, guys, stop. You guys, stop it. I'm gonna school this kid. Come on, man. I got triple tagged, quadruple tagged before I even saw the punches coming. And right when I'm trying to throw, they're gone. And I'm left-handed, so I got an advantage. I'm trying to throw, and they're already out of my way. My hand is down. I've completely missed, getting lit up on the other side of my head again. Like, it's a completely different ballgame. Now take the best guy in the sport that's ever been at it. This guy, come on. This fight is a question of not if, but when, and how long does Floyd want to stay in that ring with him? That's what's coming down to. Now, yeah, both guys are going to try. Both guys are going to try to put it together. So now you're looking at, what is the payday going to be for McGregor? Takes a beating. Let's say he takes a beating, right? And he makes $25 million. I can retire on that. Could you retire on $25 million?
Oh yeah.
He's not living us, so he might not think he can live like that. You have to lessen his lifestyle. But we both can survive on $25 million. So say he gets $25 million. It takes a beating and gets embarrassed. Would you come back and fight MMA if you got $25 million in the bank? Of course, you lose half, right? You know, you got other stuff you got to pay for and what have you. So you come on with $12.25, whatever, $12.50. So you come on with this $12.50, this $12.5 million, $12.5 million, and you're like, do I really need to? I can make some investments. I can do some, buy some property. But I'm like, I can do some real estate stuff. Like, I'm good, man. I'm out. I don't need to come back. Say he wins. Let's say he beats Mayweather and made $25 million. UFC's not paying him $25 million. And think about what we're saying here. He beats Mayweather. His demanding price now is the price that he just got. I am worth what I just got. I just got $25 million, and I beat a 49-0 Floyd Mayweather. What are you going to pay me now to come back to MMA? Oh, dude, we're talking like $35 million, $40 million. Flat rate, boom, this guy comes in. Now, what happens for MMA as a whole if the UFC can maintain that price and still make money, which I don't know their books. I don't know if they can or not. I mean, you're a numbers guy. You're a money guy. Like, you kind of understand like how things work. I'm not real sure. I'm not like into that. I don't have a good head for that kind of stuff. But I can't see the UFC paying him $35 million, $30 million for him to show up, because now it means what do the other champs do? Why is he worth $35 million. When I've been here from the get-go, never left, never caused you any problems, worked my ass off, and the fans love me. Diaz brothers. $35 million? You're like, holy crap, now my gate is, or not my gate, but my purse has gone up. The entire card, like, what do I do? Now you're looking at main event, co-main event. You're looking at, between the main event, co-main event, and I call it the swing bout, the bout before all that, which goes back to old pay-per-view days. But that bout before that, you're looking at over $100 million in paydays just for those guys. Now we got to go down to someplace else. Like, man, it can be a debacle. It could be a debacle. It also depends on what happens, But also, too, McGregor's a fighter. He's a competitor. He can take an ass kicking and be like, hey, my contract is for whatever, $6 million or whatever it is. I'm taking that. He can go in there and win. And be like, no, man, I just want to prove that MMA is better than boxing and walk away from boxing and go right back to MMA and take whatever his contract's are. The one thing about Conor McGregor is he will surprise the crap out of you all the time. He surprised you when everyone said he wasn't going to be able to beat Jose Aldo and did it in 13 seconds. He did it, he said he's going to take over the world and be the best guy out there, and he's been doing it. So the one thing you can't ever turn away from is the fact that Conor McGregor kind of does what he says. And so you got to kind of, whether you want to be on the bandwagon or not, he will shock the world. And it could be shocking the world where he gets a complete ass kicking and goes, okay, I'm going to fight next week. Or when can I get my third match with Diaz? Like right after he gets done fighting. Like he could legitimately call somebody else out in MMA and go right back to MMA and not even have a hiccup. Or he could win and do the exact same thing. I'm going back to MMA and not even have a hiccup. Just, it's Conor McGregor show. So who the hell knows what's going to happen? Might be another water bottle being thrown. Like, who the hell knows? It's crazy. And it works. And I am betting against him every single time because I'm chasing my money. And I am watching every single episode, every single interview, everything he does. I'm watching it. And I'm one guy, and I'm only a casual fan. Imagine those diehard fans, what they're doing. So it's nuts, man. Who knows what that guy will do. But I love Sean's points. I love Pearson's points. Like, he's right, man. Like, he might not come back. He might be like, I'm done. I'm out of here. But we don't know because it's Conor. We can't put any logic behind it.
Very true. The second point that Sean made last night, and it had me thinking overnight. I haven't seen a UFC contract in a few years, and I'm sure there's been some changes. What he brought up was, you take a look at, a sport that us Canadians love, which is hockey, and how, in the contracts, it's because they've got, CBA, collective bargaining agreement, they've got a union. In the contracts, there are buyout clauses. So if you sign for 4 years and you want to cut the player or set them loose after 2, you got to buy them out the 2 years remaining on that contract. And Sean was like, look, man, if I'm signing for 4 fights, the UFC can cut me after 1 fight. I'm not going to get the rest of that money from those 3 other fights. There should be buyout clauses. Now, if the UFC offers you something, I don't think the UFC will ever allow a buyout clause. I was always wondering, though, can a manager, can a fighter, whomever represents himself or herself, get that clause in there where they say, yep, I'll sign for 4 fights, 10 and 10, 15, 15, 20, 20, 25, 25, or whatever it is, 50 and 50, 100, 100. But if you cut me after 2 fights, you got to buy me out. Now, the UFC could simply say, dude, this is the big show. Sign here.
They had that power in the past, but because the other organizations are starting to come up with more money, they don't necessarily have that power anymore. It's like, hey, this is the big show. You either take it or leave it. They don't have that ability so much anymore. And the problem is that the top end guys that aren't even champs are getting millions of dollars. It's forcing them now to have to reevaluate a lot of contracts. Because we have guys like Max Holloway, who's a fan favorite, just doesn't talk trash. He's not gonna be out there making noise and doing all that kind of crap. He's just not his personality. He's making I don't know what his contract is, but say he's making $500,000. But then Diaz, who's not a champ, fights and makes $3 million on a loss. Where does that put the ranking value of everybody else? And so it comes back to that principle of, where is my ranking value? You have to increase my value, you have to increase my pay. So now I think with the new ownership, they might be in a position where they're gonna have to deal with these buyout clauses, which is fine on both ends. You want out, they don't want to let you go, you got to buy yourself out. They want you out, they got to buy you out. Okay, it makes sense. I kind of get it, but it's not the way business is done traditionally. You want out of your contract, they should just let you go. Like, hey man, I want to leave and go to a different organization. Okay, you're out of here. The problem is the money is coming up in other organizations, but you're not going to get millions of dollars. Coker's not going to pay you millions of dollars. to come fight for him. You know, Ray Seppel's going to pay you millions of dollars to come fight for him. It's not going to happen. So if you're in that cusp where you're like, hey, I'm about to break into the big time, you're not going anywhere. You wouldn't want to be bought out. I'm right there. I'm about to get really paid. I'm going to stay put. It's when you're kind of mid-level or lower and just not getting the right fights that you can get victories on. You know, and everybody lets you go. And that's the thing, is everyone lets you out of it. You know, the UFC just lets you go. Don't give me the money. Just let you go. And you're just kind of on your own. And really, you're talking like the 30-30, the 40-40, you know, the 50-50 guys. That's kind of what's happening with them. You know, they got Ronda Rousey on, what, a 2-fight losing streak, right? 2-fight? She's still making $3 million. Like, you know, so what is she going to do? We're going to cut you. We want to buy you out of the rest of your contract. You know, what is that, 9 million, 10 million? How many fights is that? That's not going to happen. I don't think, but things are changing, man. The face of the sport is changing. Everything is getting different. Everything's looking different. And the UFC, now, underneath new ownership, is going to be run differently. So who knows what's going to happen? You know, we have to, now we're back to, I hated the fact that I keep saying this in every single podcast, but we have to wait and see what is actually going to happen. We don't know.
I think this association, for any of these associations were to ever come to be, that's something important. You need to put that in the contracts. You mentioned Scott Coker and Bellator. They have Bellator 180, the pay-per-view, coming out June 24th, Madison Square Garden, headlined by Chael Sonnen and Wanderlei Silva, co-headlined by Fedor Emelianenko and Matt Mitrione, and with the potential of Phil Davis and Ryan Bader being added to this card. The only champion potentially on this card would be the third fight from the top. You call it a swing bout, which is almost just strange. Not comical, but just strange. But and look at this pay-per-view card. To me, it's a little risky. Only because, you know, God love Wanderlei Silva, the guy treats me like absolute gold, but historically speaking, over the past few years or so, there's been some issues. He was supposed to fight in Japan versus Crow Cop. Didn't happen. Was supposed to fight in Japan in general. Didn't happen. Was supposed to fight for the UFC a bunch of times. Didn't happen. Was supposed to fight for Bellator. Didn't happen. There's always seemed to be something, this weird sort of controversy around Wanderlei Silva. Now they've got him as the main event for a pay-per-view. Whoa, Frank. I don't know.
I mean, their model's not a pay-per-view model. They're not building up. You know, you don't have other fights to build up these pay-per-views. And Chael's a great guy. Excuse me, he's a great guy. Great talker on the mic. But what's he really won? You know, he had a great fight with Anderson Silva. Almost won that one, but didn't. So what's he really won? You know, and so like you're like, he's talking himself into these fights. He's getting, and so what's Wanderlei Silva done the last little bit? Nothing. He's been on suspension. He's supposed to be on a lifelong suspension for ducking the drug test. He went to court, got it reduced, got down like 2 years, whatever. Now he's back out of it, and now he can fight again. There's like, I guess it ends in June or July or something, and then so right before the fight, right before the fight happens, he is off of suspension, right? So he's able to come back in again. So of course you're thinking about, okay, he'll probably show up for this one because he needs the money. So Chael and Wanderlei, he kind of needs the money, but Coker's going back to that gimmick, the gimmick matchups that work. So you got Chael and Wanderlei. Like, what's going to happen with this one? It's like both guys aren't very good anymore. Both guys don't really have much to add to the table, but it's an interesting matchup. We wanted to see Fedor and Matt Mitrione fight before. Didn't happen because Matt got a kidney stone. So now what's going to happen? So it's interesting, but their format is not set up for pay-per-view. Like once I saw it as a pay-per-view, I didn't even, to be honest with you, I saw it as a pay-per-view, I stopped looking. I didn't care who's in the card. Bellator 180 pay-per-view, I just stopped looking, right? Now I'm like, okay, I'll find out later who's actually on the card. Doesn't matter to me because it's a pay-per-view. So I have to get another pay-per-view in that month. So how many pay-per-views am I going to buy that month, right? Now I'm looking at 2, possibly 3 I have to buy in that month of just MMA. Of just MMA. And Spike used to be my savior, where I got free TV. I got to see a free fight every single week, you know, every month, whatever. I got a free fight with Bellator. Now I don't have that in June. I got to watch this pay-per-view card. So now I'm paying whatever it is. I don't care if it's $30, $50, $60. The other ones are costing me $69 each. Now I got to pay another one for $59. Like, you're killing me. So I have to make a choice. I have to make a choice here. What's my choice going to be? Who do I want to see fight? So that's where my money's going to go, is who I actually want to see fight, because I can't afford to have all 3. I can't do it. Most people can't do it. Most Americans can't do it. I don't know if Canadians can. We can't do it. I mean, we can't go out there and dump on 3 pay-per-views. But then you got to remember, it's Coker. and somehow, some way, that Buddha finds a way to make things happen.
That Buddha.
So yeah, it's just like man, I don't know about this guy, but it works, and so you have to kind of follow what he says and what he does. I don't think it's going to be as successful as a UFC. I don't think it's going to do 1 million buys, but I think they'll get 500,000. I think it'll be worthwhile for them to be on pay-per-view. I think with all the other TV deals throughout the world, I think everything, with everything else they have going on, and then putting the pay-per-view together for this one particular fight, I kind of believe that this thing is going to make some money for them. And that's really the bottom line. Is it going to make money for the people involved? I don't like the main event being the main event. I think it's a great fight on that card. I don't like the co-main event being the co-main event. I think it's a great fight on that card. I think the championship bout should be the main event. But that's always been my thing, is like show respect to the champions as opposed to showing respect to the gimmicks, and they're showing respect to the gimmick. But in Bellator, the gimmick works. The gimmick sells. And the other thing that I've noticed, to be quite honest with you, there's only 4 or 5 fights going to be put on a pay-per-view card, right? When you get in there. In Bellator, it's really the undercard that's much better. It's really like, because I'm reffing for Bellator a lot now. So I get there and I have to be there for the first fight on. Usually I'm reffing the first or second fight of the night. And these are the fights that are on Spike.com, or it's after the main event is already run and they're doing, these other fights after the fight card is over, which are dark. No one sees them unless you're in the arena. And those are some of the most exciting fights I've ever seen. The most battling, the craziest stuff. Like, those are the better fights, actually, to be honest with you. So really, Bellator does himself a disservice. They're not showing their entire card because of how amazing the undercard is. Like, they should just put everything back on Spike.com to the pay-per-view, then back on to Spike.com. Or, in this case, they'll probably do Spike TV, do Spike.com for the super early fights, Spike TV for the undercard, and then when they hit the main card, going on to pay-per-view. That's probably the format that they're looking at. I'm not positive on that, but that's where I think they should do it, because those fights on the other are and they are amazing. These guys are coming out to their bang, and these guys have the old original attitude on how to bang. These undercard guys, they're fighting for a contract. They're fighting for their lives. They're fighting in front of their hometown crowd that really want them to shine and show, and that's what they're fighting for. And these guys just put more oomph into it. Then it's not the typical, I don't want to lose, so I'm gonna kind of back out of this. I'm doing just enough to win, which happens a lot in the bigger name guys, because they're just trying to keep their records padded and keep the money increasing. These younger guys, I'm making $20. What the hell do I care? I'm going to go up there and throw to the wind and see what happens, kind of thing. So I'm interested to see how this works, but I think Bellator's going to make some money out of it. It's just going to be hard pressed for me for them to make money out of me on this one particular card, because it's going to be another pay-per-view card that I'm like, I don't know necessarily if I want to pay for it.
Yeah, I think and Pearson was mentioning the same thing yesterday. My counter argument was the basic counter argument. Phil Davis and Ryan Bader, if they were to be put on this card, they should be headlining it because you have a champion on there. But what actually sells is name recognition. Because if I was to walk down my streets here and ask people, do you know who Phil Davis or Ryan Bader are? You might get some people who might know. But if I say, do you know who Chael Sonnen, Vanderlei Silva, and Fedor Emelianenko are? I'll get a much larger response. And hence the reason I think, that's the main reason why Scott and Bellator are using those names to sell the pay-per-view. And it could be a good byproduct for Phil Davis, because more people will, if they do buy it, we'll get more love for Phil Davis. They'll see him more, as well as Ryan Bader. The problem is the people that are going to buy that Bellator card aren't necessarily going to be that mainstream audience. It'll be mainstream. It'll be those mainstream names that'll be there, but more the hardcore fans that'll buy this because it's not the UFC per se. Right. Now, Bad Blood sells fights. Chael Sonnen and Vanderlei have bad blood, have had beef for a very long time. They sell. Two other people that have had bad beef who've already competed for quite some time are Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate. Now, Miesha Tate did say she'll come out of retirement to fight Ronda Rousey. And if Ronda Rousey wants to come back to MMA and wants to get that win and knows that she has 2 wins over Miesha Tate, she might take that fight. Your thoughts on the potential of this thing might potentially becoming a reality?
I always said when Miesha retired that she's not retired, that she'll come back and fight again. I said that from the beginning. Even though they tried to force her right into commentating, I think she's got too much fire in her. I think she was just disappointed that she worked her ass off to get the championship and couldn't maintain it and got beat. And she's just so she just made a snap decision and really didn't think about her long-term career and all that stuff. I think she still has a lot of fire left. She's got a lot of stuff to still offer the sport as a competitor. I always thought she was coming back. So it's gonna be interesting to see if if she can goat Ronda Rousey in the calling her out or taking her up on that, and like, yeah, let me get myself a victory and have you come back in again. it's I've always found it interesting in our sport. I did it, Couture did it. You know, most people do it. They retire and then come back and fight again. It's just kind of like how the game goes. And it's like boxing, football, baseball, hockey. And guys retire, they're retired, man. That's it. They're done. They're not looking for any kind. And they could, I mean, a lot of guys when they retire could easily call another team or call another space and be like, hey, I want to come back. And we go, yeah, 100% we'll have you back. And I don't even sit on a shelf for a year, but we still want you back. They have no desire. Like I'm just done playing. I'm just done playing. And it seems like in MMA, guys, people always come back. I think Misha will 100% come back for that fight. And to be honest, it's a much more competitive fight. Ronda's on a 2-fight losing streak, a lot of pressure, a lot of stress on her. She feels the heat of the world on top of her. Misha Tate is happy in her retirement. You know, she's like, I don't really need to win or lose. And it's a great matchup for Misha. I've already lost twice. If I lose 3 times, so what? Doesn't make that much of a deal. That really doesn't matter. If she beats Ronda, she avenges one of those losses and kind of walk away with her head a little bit higher. But she's had such a great career, it doesn't matter. Ronda, she wins. She's holy crap, this is amazing. I got myself back on a win streak. I can make this thing happen. Let's go. Let's go. Let's push some more. Let's now get myself back into title contention and a couple more fights. It just makes sense. If she loses to her, she could go, look, I just don't have it anymore. I came out, I tried. I really did try, and you can see that this is a person I beat twice before, and I can't beat her. Like now I've been beat by her. I have to be done. And it gives her a great way to walk away from the sport with her head held high and going and how she spins it. It depends on how her PR reps spin it. But hey, I tried my best. I did what I could do. I can't get it done. I got to get out of this. I'm going on to do movies, and she's going to have a successful career doing B-level and C-level movies. I mean, that's what's going to happen. If she chooses to go that route. And so it's a great matchup. I'm going to watch it. I'm definitely going to be paying attention to it because there's a lot of factors in here. Does Misha still make another title run? Does Ronda have enough to get back on top? Like, there's a lot of this overmixing going on. I love that, and we love those storylines. So it's great. Yeah.
I don't think either one has enough to go for another title run, but to see them both compete again, I'm down. I would love to see it, and I will give the edge to Misha Tate in that fight there if it was to take place. I'm going to do some rapid fire, Frank, because we got about 3 minutes to go here. I'm going to throw a bunch of things your way. Give me 20 seconds or less on your thoughts on anything you like. First things first, Jimmy Manoa takes out Corey Anderson, and it drives me nuts when play-by-play guys, and I'm not taking shots at them, I'm just saying it drives me nuts when they say one-punch knockout. No, it wasn't a one-punch knockout. There were numerous punches that were thrown that ended with a one-punch knockout.
We both know the commentators have one job only, and that is to sell the fight, and they're trying to sell the fight by saying one-punch knockout. Any human being that has any eyes and can actually see the fight realizes there was like 27 punches before that. The one-punch knockout has always kind of weirded me out too. It's like this not one punch, there's a bunch of other crap that goes on. I'm in complete agreement with you.
Gunnar Nelson has the opportunity to finish Alan Chauvin via knockout and says no. In his DNA, he's a BJJ guy. He goes in for the finish and chokes him out instead.
That's not what he said. That's not what he was believing at all. He's going for the record. Most amount of submissions in the UFC. He's now tied, I think, with that submission. All he had to do, literally, he'd already cracked him hard enough to put him down. All he had to do was give him literally a half a punch. And that would have finished the fight. He's like, no, I'm going to get the submission because I'm up for a submission record. Like, I can get this record, so I'm going to go ahead and take that. And that's smart. That's smart. Let's go. He's going for records. Why wouldn't you? It makes complete sense.
A happy birthday today to Mark Hunt. But the Super Samoan is set to take on Derek Lewis, and this will be taking place June 11th in New Zealand. I like this fight, Frank.
I like this fight a lot. Both guys are bang. You don't have to worry about going onto the ground. You don't have to worry about Mark getting pushed against the cage and getting leaned on. That's not Derek Lewis's style. It's going to be somebody going home, face down, and that's what we want to see between heavyweights. I just find it's weird that they're bringing Lewis against Hunt. I think that Lewis is on a big upswing, and with the loss that Hunt just had, he needs an easier matchup for him to keep that winning bonus, but also let's not forget the lawsuit he has against the UFC. Could be part of the factor of let's give him Derek Lewis and see what happens. He gets 2 losses. Are they going to cut him?
Correct. Ultimate Fight Night 112 in Oklahoma, June 25th. We'll see the return, once again, of BJ Penn in what I deem is a much fairer fight in Dennis Seaver.
It was supposed to be Dennis to begin with. That was the guy they're going to give him the very beginning. So they're actually just going around the corner and finally getting back to the fight that's supposed to happen. I want BJ to be done. He's getting beat up. He's been getting beat up his last few fights. There's no reason for him to be back out here again, taking another beating. He might win this fight. He'll probably win this fight. But the reality of it is he's going to take a lot of kicks, take a lot of head blows in the middle of it. Why shorten your life or shorten your career? At this point, when you're a Hall of Famer, you've already got a storied career. Stop. Just be done. Just have enough. But I also understand the fire. I also understand that he wants to prove that he still has a little bit left and can still contribute to the sport. I just think it's just a little bit too far behind him.
Also on that card is Tim Boetsch versus Johnny Hendricks. Do you see this as a loser leaves town match?
I kind of do. Johnny had to move up because he's not really making weight and he's not winning as much as he used to anymore. And Tim is on a 2-fight losing streak or 1-fight losing streak. The UFC's got 500 people under contract. They got to start cutting some people. They've got to start getting the roster down. They have to. It's just basic economics. If you're paying Diaz and McGregor $3 and $6 million, you can't pay 20 other guys $100,000 each. Like you got to trim the fat someplace. So you got to trim the guys that aren't superstars. These guys are not superstars. But both these guys sell in Oklahoma. Johnny actually is from Oklahoma, which means a lot of ticket sales are going to happen for this fight because people don't want to watch him fight. And then, of course, Tim, the Viking, everybody wants to see him fight all the time. So even the mid-level fans will love to watch Tim fight, so they're going to buy tickets as well. So it's a great matchup for Oklahoma, but I do agree it's loser leaves town.
I think you said Viking. It's the Barbarian.
Barbarian, sorry. Barbarian, Viking, I mean,
whatever. They're all the same thing. They all come off a boat. All right. One final one. I should have mentioned it off the top. Jimmy Manuel one more time. Frank, do you think he's using reverse psychology in disrespecting John Jones? I don't want to fight him. I don't like him, blah, 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 blah. When in reality, it's like, dude, you take that fight if you want to get paid.
Yeah, it's a payday fight. That's what I was talking about now, these payday fights. You're talking about the Diaz brothers. They're holding out for payday fights. They don't want some little chump fight. They want a payday fight. This is what's the reality of our sport has become the payday fight. 100% Minnow is going to take on John Jones. And it's perfect. I don't care about that guy. So, look, man, I don't like him. I don't want to fight him. I don't really care about him. What is it to me? You keep that attitude up, you keep that mentality up, all of a sudden the guy's like, what do you mean? What do you mean, what about me? Like, I'm right here. I'm clean now. I'm not doing any more coke. I'm not running around and hitting pregnant women in cars. I'm totally fine. Let's go. And also now John's calling him out. He's like, I don't want to fight him. Play a couple of days of I don't want to fight him. Okay, UFC just made an announcement. Minnow and Jones, they're fighting. Like, okay, all right. That's perfect. It's the great, especially in today's talking. Everyone's out there trash talking everybody else. It's the anti-trash talk. This is what's going to set him apart. It's going to make him better. 100%. I agree with it. I love it, and I think it's going to work.
Yeah, I felt like if that's the case. Not that I saw through it, but I'm like, yeah, I know what you're doing because I've done it a lot over my career. Before we let you go, pretty sure it's going to be nap time because it's 7:47 a.m. In Hawaii. Are you going for a nap now? And what's going on with you over the next week or so?
Like I said, I'm working in humans. Had a couple of days this week. And then I have to do another big fight scene next week with them. I'm shooting a scene. I'm playing a homeless man, actually, on NCSLA coming up. I'm not sure what the scene is, but I think either Callan or I think it's Callan this time beats me up, and I get in a little fisticuff with him, which is fine. And then, I'm reffing this weekend in San Diego, and then I'm reffing again on the 29th in LA. No big name, no big promotion card. These are smaller promotions, but I'm still working California quite a bit. So I have a couple reffing assignments and waiting on. I thought I was going to get the call for Bellator to go work the Chicago card. Didn't happen. Didn't happen. So I don't know. I'm hoping maybe I'll get the Madison Square Garden card, so I could go back to my home state and actually ref. That'd be nice, but we'll see what happens.
Perfect, Frank. I want to thank you for your time. Make sure you guys follow Frank Trigg online via social media at Frank Trigg, all one word. Follow yours truly, Joe Ferraro, at Showdown Joe. Of course, at Fightful MMA. And don't forget, for all your mixed martial arts news, FightfulMMA.com. Tomorrow I'll be joined by managing editor for the site, Sean Ross Sapp, and we will go early tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. Kind of thankful that he's joining me. I got some stuff to take care of in the afternoon, but we all know Sean Ross Sapp will likely lose his marbles about a variety of stuff, especially stuff that Frank and I talked about today. But for now, for those of you that tuned in live, we thank you very, very much. To those tuning in later on iTunes and Stitcher and on YouTube, we thank you as well. As always, ciao for now.